Good evening, folks. This Tuesday night edition of You Hate to See It. How we doing tonight? We just can't get anything right tonight. we just can't get anything right tonight. Reason why we're not going live tonight is because we have a lot of our three members are not in the same place. I'm here in Jersey where normal people live, and then you have Chewy in Ohio, and then Ryan decided to go on vacation to Colorado. That is why we have the issue. He's trying to go skiing. He's trying to get me to do skiing.
Big emphasis on trying.
Long story short, here we are. We're all in different places. We're coast to coast is what we really are. We really are coast to coast. We pride ourselves on being a coast to coast show. People now think we are going live. We're not. We are recording this. You'll be seeing this tonight or tomorrow morning. God only knows. So we're trying not to be a Mickey Mouse operation yet. Here we are. But hey,
if you bear with us, we'll work through all these technological difficulties and we'll power through and we'll get to the real,
it's entertaining. It's entertaining. You want entertainment? You come to the right place. This is Clown University. So we
also break news apparently.
Well, exactly. I'm gonna get to that. Shut up. I got it. All right. We got to start this off. Sports Illustrated broke the story yesterday about this Jack Easterby guy who's a preacher. Okay. This show, we didn't record. Nobody was listening because we were still practicing, but we broke this story in December. Evan Donatov gave me the scoop on it. We did our research and I broke the story. I had the segment was called Houston and a Preacher. And this guy, Jack Easterby, okay, as soon as he showed up to Houston, the entire operation fell to the ground. One more time, folks. We reported it first right here on this Mickey Mouse podcast. We did it first. All right. We also have our own preacher. Okay. Chewy at one point worked at Oak Tree Presbyterian. Okay. Preschool and church. He was the night guy. All right. So that's our version of the preacher. So anything we have to do, we go through him. Just like Houston goes to this preacher to see if they should trade DeAndre Hopkins for a bag of donuts. We go to Chewy and say, should we go live tonight? No, we shouldn't. Here we are. Okay. So that's it. And let's understand this. Where did Jack Easterby come from? Why would you put this guy in control of your franchise? All right. This guy is nothing more than a character coach. That is a label now. You could be a character coach. I could be a character coach. You could be a character coach. What's a character coach? The head coach should be a character coach. The OC should be a character coach. Your position coach should be the character coach. So this guy started off in Jacksonville as the character coach. Okay, so Jacksonville, congratulations, you hired your first ever character coach. Then he gets a job in New England as another character coach, okay? And then was also the team chaplain. So he's giving religious advice. He's doing confessions over there upstairs in Foxborough. So during Deflategate, during Spygate, Bill Belichick did his confessions with this guy, all right? Then he helps build a franchise. Because listen, he got there in 2013. It's the Patriots. They win. Any Mickey Mouse operation, the front office can win if Bill Belichick is calling the shots, okay? So this guy apparently crowns himself as the guy. They a lot of success. This guy has success in the front office. Guess what he does? Goes to Houston, okay? And teams up with Billy O'Stooge, who then runs a team right into the ground. And now look where Houston is, okay? Their quarterback wants out. Their fans wanted to have a march on Houston on MLK Day. We had the march on Washington. Houston, the fans said, no, we're going to make our own history today. We're going to have the march on Houston. We're going to go over there and we're going to go to Reliance Stadium and we're going to beg for this guy to get the hell out of town. They're losing their franchise quarterback.
That's what Watson needs to do. He needs to get that.
Watson, somebody needs to go in there and save Watson. Sure. JJ Watt, help is on the way
too.
So, fellas, What do you do here? You have everybody wants a franchise quarterback, and you guys are doing everything possible to drive him out of town. You told him you were going to be involved in it. He was going to be involved in the GM hiring. Nope, he's not. He was going to be involved in the head coaching interviews. No, he's not. Nope. So what are you asking this guy?
He shouldn't play it down for them ever again.
I'd sit out too.
I would, yeah. I don't blame him if he does. There's teams. There's at least, like we touched on earlier in one of our first shows. We said that there's going to be 25 teams calling for Watson when this news first initially broke. I mean, the Jets have the fucking ammunition to go up there and get him. Go get him. They have the 2 pick. They have the 34th. They have a lot of draft capital to go and get him. And I think Chewy's pumping those horns left and right.
Chewy is doing everything possible to get. Chewy's the guy waving the plane, and when Deshaun lands, that he's going to be on the guy on the tarmac saying, "Okay, right here."
Can you blame him?
No, I can't blame him. I want him to.
Best. That would be the franchise. That would be the best quarterback the Jets have had.
I would trade Saquon Jones, a first, a second. Give me this guy in town. Give me this guy right now. Okay, and the Jets should say that. The Dolphins should say that. And
as a Jet fan, I got to ask Chewy this. I mean, if they don't put on a full court press for him, I don't know how you can respect them and continue to have your ties with the Jets. I would be disheartened, especially with all this ammunition as we just touched on. Let Chewy talk about it, because I mean that seems like the front runner are the Jets to get Watson.
With Houston, I think the only thing that can save them or potentially save them is an Eric Bieniemy hire. Problem is the Chiefs are still playing. I don't know if they can, if that's a deal, if that's a person they can secure right away, right now. I mean, that could potentially make Watson come back to Jesus. I think he's clearly trying to make it known. He's upset. If you monitor Deshaun Watson's social media, he's been posting. I think he posted in a Niners jersey one day. He posted in a Falcons jacket. He's in New York City. He's liking stories from the New York Post with him on the front cover. So clearly he's frustrated, and like you said,
he's doing his part. He's making it known too, which he should.
Yeah, if you're the Jets, full court press all the way. I mean, at the end of the day, since Watson has a no trade clause, all the power is in his hand. I mean, if this guy came out and said, "I want to be traded here," then the Jets would have all the leverage in that situation. I mean, they still have to make a respectable offer, but they wouldn't have to get in a bidding war with a team like Miami, who
it's going to come down to where does he want to go?
Yeah,
exactly.
Like we're seeing, it's the NFL is becoming very much like the NBA in the realm of trades. I love it. People are changing teams left and right. It's bringing a whole new thing. And I think we were talking about earlier in our conversations leading up to the show that I think it's only a $10 million cap hit next year or something, Chew?
Yep.
Touch on that real quick?
Yeah, $10 million cap hit and then $35 million every year subsequently after. So if you're the Jets,
Deshaun Watson,
that still gives you a ton of room to bring other guys in, whether that's an Allen Robinson or a Chris Godwin or Kenny Golladay. I mean, or you can go get a defensive end or a corner. So there's just so many avenues that would still be open even after trading for Watson. So I mean, if you're Joe Douglas, I mean, this is he would be.
This goated. Makes your career.
He would be goated if you've just flipped Jamal Adams, a glorified box safety coming off the edge, for a franchise quarterback that's still under 25 years old. I mean, Jets Nation would be ready to crown him and put him in the Hall of Fame.
And I want to circle back real fast, right? I ripped the Easter beat here through this whole time that he's with the preacher, this and that. I'm having fun with that, right? At the end of the day, this guy came in with Bill O'Brien, and a football guy who built Penn State to help them where they are today, who actually put the Texans in position.
Turmoil.
Well, who actually put the Texans in a position to be successful, playoff appearances. They had a good team at one point, right? So it's not just Jack Easterby. It's not just Jack Easterby. You got to also.
What really turned for me with them real quick? Let me just say that Tunzel trade. They traded a lot to get Tunzel. And they mortgaged it, and then they just, they were in so deep, they just said, fuck it, we're riding with this wave, and we're just going full balls to the wall, and we're going in. And this is the outcome of that. When you do that, you're trying to make a push, but they just couldn't get it right.
I think if you were going to
have the quarterback, I mean, once they trade Hopkins, I mean, we all, everyone who's tuned into the NFL question, like, what the hell's going on?
What's going on down there? So I rip Easterby, I think, but if you're going to fire Bill, then you got to fire this guy too. And I point because he's right here on my screen. You got to fire him. Okay. And and he brings in his Patriots guy Caserio from the Patriots. So, but once again, those front office guys from the Patriots, those coaches from the Patriots, okay, you really got to make sure you're really watching what you're bringing in, because how much of that is them? How much of that is Bill Belichick? So let's move on. We have other big coaching news. Okay, we're going to follow this Houston thing. Once again, you heard it here first. You hate to see it. Reported it back in December, courtesy of Evan Dunatov, friend of the show. Jack Easterby, out of control over there.
Patience, Jets fans. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's gonna be a very fluid situation. A lot of it depends on Houston's attitude, and we'll just continue to wait and see.
Dan Campbell, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Dan Campbell to the Lions. All right, now I made the point here in the notes. It's the Adam Gase effect. I think teams have saw what happens when you bring in a genius, forward-thinking offensive mind, and you bring him in, and he completely does this the whole time. All right. And he stares at his playbook. You're bringing in the complete opposite of an Adam Gase. You're bringing in the complete opposite of even a Jim Caldwell in Detroit. And in the complete opposite of a Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia was very focused, very low key. Dan Campbell, a defensive guru. So you're bringing in a true leader of men. This guy he's a tight ends coach. He played with the Giants. He played with the Cowboys. He coached with the Saints. Interim coach in Miami. I hear great things from the Miami people that they really liked him when he was there. Maybe this is what this Detroit team needs. And if you're going to keep Matthew Stafford there, please, somebody help this guy. Somebody save Matthew.
I think Stafford's out. I think they could probably franchise tag him.
If I was him, I'd get the hell out of there too.
I think
it's a joke over there. This is the Adam Gase effect. It's the Adam Gase effect.
Yeah, who knows? We'll see if it works out for Detroit. Normally in Detroit, it normally doesn't work out.
Real quick, Chargers and Falcons get their guy. The Chargers get Brandon Staley. The promotion from within. It's always a good move. You promote from within. You know the guy. Do you knock him? I don't know, but listen, the Chargers were a very attractive opportunity. Herbert, you got a good team there that just needs a little bit of better clock management, courtesy of Anthony Lynn. And then the other thing here with the Falcons, okay? The Falcons.
I like the Falcons hire a lot.
The Falcons get the Adam Gase lookalike, okay?
Yeah, but I thought we were touching on. He was one of the top guys for Chewy with the Jets. Outside of that fact, Adam Gase, but I mean, outside of this weekend, the big hirings, I think Saleh was the best. I think we all agreed on that. And I think the Arthur Smith, and I think the Falcons got it right. I think the Falcons have some playing, room to play with stuff with Julio. We don't know where that's going. We don't know. There's a lot of stuff that the Falcons. We could see a totally new look Falcons very soon.
Listen, the Falcons. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I was going to talk. We can talk. We're going to touch on what I want to talk about later on.
Yeah, the Falcons got their guy. I think the Falcons hired a very good general manager. The Jets got their guy. I think the Lions got their guy too. I really do. I like Campbell. I really think he's a fiery guy that'll get guys to play for him. All right, let's move on. All right, to the divisional round before it turns into Wednesday here tonight.
Hey, it's only 7:13 here.
By the way, Staley wasn't a hire from within. He was the DC for the Rams.
I'm sorry, you're right. He was that's right. He was the DC from.
So you can pump the brakes on gassing up
on your
coach
continuity. Hey, same town. There's the same town.
All right. Let's get into division games. First,
they hired from within the city.
Hired from within the same town, same area. You don't got to move.
Move on. Let's go. Move on. Get into the division.
Rams. All right. I mean, we knew this was coming.
By the way,
I went 3-1 this weekend. By the way, and if Mahomes was hurt, I would have went 4-0. Yeah, you're very quick to update it when you win. So. And you're also very quick to update it when I lose. So now when when I should have been 4-0, if Mahomes doesn't,
I was watching these games on my phone on the plane.
Well, what kind of fan are you? You over there traveling on a Sunday?
In dispensaries, getting it shut off.
Anyway,
going through the mountains of Colorado, losing LTE every big fucking play. You have no idea. Broncos half asleep, but we're on the same play. We need fucking KC minus 2.5. We'll get into that game later.
All right, so Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. Listen, this guy, Aaron Rodgers, had controlled this game since week 1. All right, let's understand that. Aaron Donald being hurt, the rib cartilage, that played a huge role. He was definitely not himself.
He missed a lot of snaps, Rodgers looked unfazed by that defensive line. He was playing around with them. The secondary, I mean, that Jalen Ramsey looked at a touch the second after he gave that touchdown. It looked like it frazzled him. I mean, I was looking towards that matchup. I mean, he did hold Devontae under his yards total. Devontae wasn't really dominant.
He was 9 for 66.
Yeah. But I mean, for Devontae was having fucking top tier between him and Diggs. I think were the argument for the wide receiver of the year. In essence,
I think that game just came down to the Rams just topping out offensively, and that's the reason why I love the Packers coming into that game. I just didn't think Jared Goff was going to be able to do it. Granted, I was surprised. He did look better throwing the football. I wasn't expecting him to look. His spiral was good. The ball
that game was on Fox, wasn't it?
Coming out of his hands, and
that was
Aikman and Buck were sucking it. No,
Aikman and Buck were on the Saints game. This one was
okay. Who was that? The announcers were saying Daryl Johnson. The announcers were saying earlier that he made two of his first two throws were better than any throw he made all.
Tom Brenneman was on this game, or
I forget exactly, but I remember them touching on that earlier.
Yeah,
and what I thought the game came down to is the offensive line for the Packers dominated with a lot of injuries. Bakhtiari out. I think their backup tackle they signed off a practice squad. I think it was the Jets, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, he also had COVID when he got because he came from the Colts. That guy came from the Colts.
Yeah, he was off a practice squad. Yeah,
and he got COVID because after the Colts game with the Buffalo Bills, he's like, man, I'm done. I'm not gonna worry about this no more. The COVID protocol out the window. I'm going home. And then boom, the Packers pick him up. So
yeah, but their offensive line, really was the driving force in that game. They dominated that whole game. It wasn't really the Saturday games were pretty one-sided.
The Rams ran the ball well, though. Akers had 100. They had 112 yards on the ground as a team, which isn't bad. But
no, that's the way you get on the Packers because they got the Smith brothers on the edge rush. They got Jair. Their secondary is deep. Savage plays well. Adrian Amos. Shout out Penn State.
What I love. What I love though.
Great secondary.
I love the jawing between Adams and Ramsey. How Adams said,
I saw Bleacher put something out. I gotta tune that in. I gotta tune into that. Yeah.
Let's give these people the show.
I knew that's what.
That's great.
A listener of ours, Jaron, said the matchup of the day was going to be Ramsey and Devontae over Josh Allen and Lamar, which I think Josh Allen Lamar game was kind of a defensive game, but we can transition to that. As well.
That's a perfect transition point. Okay, Bills Ravens. Listen, the Bills, I said this last week, if you make Lamar throw from the pocket, he's a totally different quarterback. And I thought they did a good job of keeping him kind of in the pocket. Listen, you're going to give up those big runs. You're going to give up the 3rd and 18s where he's going to find his way and he's going to go. And that did happen. But both defenses came to play. All right, It was a low-scoring game. Okay, Josh Allen's numbers don't jump off the page. He was 22 for 37 for 206. That is not that good. You hate to see Lamar get hurt. He had a rough day. You hate to see it. But you know what the turning point of that game was? You're going to agree with me. It was the pick six.
Yeah, I was going to say. I
want to go another route.
Let me just touch on his point real quick. I said it was a very lackluster game for the most part. Punts, left and right. Missed kicks left and right. I mean, the announcers jinxing them. They were making fun. That was Nance and
it was windy.
Romo,
it was windy.
Yeah, it was the Buffalo win. Yeah, the Buffalo win really got to him. And beyond
Justin
that,
Tucker,
the pick six turnover, and then soon after Lamar got hurt, and it was just end. I mean, there was nothing. They weren't coming out.
I don't think if you're watching that, and obviously it's between Lamar and Josh Allen, like that was the matchup. I mean, but at the end of the day, they don't play each other. That game's not completely on Lamar Jackson.
No.
Like you said, JT Automatic missed 2 field goals in the first half. J.K. Dobbins dropping passes left and right. And the play before the pick six, J.K. Dobbins has a chance to cut block a rusher. And if Lamar can just step into his throw, he had Marquise Hollywood Brown wide open for a touchdown. And it would have been.
They just moved on from.
It would have been 10-10. Well, now
they moved on from Ingram today.
Yeah. Well, he whiffs on that block. And Lamar underthrows the throw, throws it into the dirt because he had pressure right in his face. And then the next play was the pick six. So, and then not even to mention the center snapping. He was snapping the ball everywhere.
Lamar was bending down the whole game trying to get that. You don't know.
Reaching over his head, catching it one-handed.
Many factors working against the Ravens.
Neither offense in that game did enough to win, and the Bills' defense just played a little better with that pick six, in my opinion.
JT Automatic, okay? Him missing those kicks. Now, granted, it's windy as shit up there in Buffalo. The Bills Mafia were over there with their tables probably moving that shit. And then the Bills Mafia on TV on the video, they moved the kick over with their fingers. So the Ravens had a lot of things working against them. But if he even makes one of those kicks or makes them both, people don't realize how that changes the play calling. You change the play calling on both sides.
Changes the whole dynamic of the game.
Psychologically, look at
Tyler Bass was missing them too.
Psychologically,
they both were. I think there was like a stint where they missed like 3 or 4 field goals in a row, back to back to back. Tucker missed 2, and it was you never see that. It was crazy, and you were starting to worry. Like, do they start going for it instead of kicking with Justin Tucker? Like, that's never a question you think Harbaugh goes into the game thinking. But I mean, the Buffalo atmosphere, fucking.
Listen, it's home field advantage. It's the home field. COVID times home field. I'm in Buffalo. It's windy. It's good. You don't think there's gonna be home field advantage in Green Bay this weekend? It's gonna. 100%.
I will say this about Buffalo. I will say this about Buffalo real quick, Ryan. I think you have to give their OC, and this is the reason why he's going to be a top head coach candidate. If you look at the second half, how they were finding ways to find Stephon Diggs favorable matchups.
I love Diggs.
They never lined him up against Humphreys. They didn't even really line him up against Peters that often, but they were looking at that third or fourth corner when they were in their nickel sets to get favorable matchups. And I think they did a good job, like keeping their drive going. And I think that was a deciding factor. I mean, Diggs didn't have his routine huge game, but he still made an impact going against some of the
huge impact. Yep.
Going against the third or fourth corner.
That was a big deciding factor. 100%.
That's a big point, Chewy, because in these guys with these OCs and how they call games, a big part of a good offensive coordinator is when shit's not going your way. How are you calling the game? It's like when a ace pitcher doesn't have his best stuff. Can he still win the game? Can this OC still find a way to, call this team to a victory? And he did. Josh Allen did win this game. This offense did just enough to win this game and play complementary football with a great defense. This is a total team win. So
speaking on what we were just saying, though, about how like the offense is getting enrolled, I think that and kicker troubles are a great transition into Cleveland and Kansas City. Let me just touch on Bucker real quick. I mean, is he allergic from 33 yards? He's had missed PATs left and right all year, and then he missed the field goals. I know the announcers were joking around with it, but he can't. 33 yards is just impossible for him. In the beginning of the season, we were talking about best kicker. He made 4 or 5 with the icings and shit. Early on, he made a game winner from 50 plus. I just don't know what it is about 33 yards. But just to touch on that real quick, because it bugs me out.
He has no excuse. But the storyline there is Patty Mahomes getting injured. Will he play next week? Will he not? Before we even get into that, I think we're going to cover that next show.
Anything is possible, man.
Yeah.
Anything is possible. Andy Reid, listen, you saw the memes, you saw the tweets, has balls of steel, all right? This guy puts a backup quarterback in, NFC Championship game, 1 possession game, and you're going to have this guy throw 5 of the last 7 plays of the game with a backup. Now, Romo, right, if you guys are listening to the game with the audio part, okay, Romo was they're going to try to, force them off sides, use a timeout, run the play clock down and punt this away or whatever, right? And then all of a sudden, Jim Nantz goes, and they snap the ball, and then there goes Tyreek Hill to the boundary side, running a quick out to the trips. Right, they ran trips to the boundary, which is the short side of the field, folks. And Tyreek Hill gets out there, boom, touchdown. I mean, goes down in bounds. Clock keeps moving. Chad Henne, the fucking man, that. You know what? And then Tony Romo picked himself because Tony Romo always predicts the plays. He always does. And he comes in, he goes, only Andy Reid's going to call that play in that situation. And you know what? Hell yeah. Andy Reid's one of the best play callers of all time,
If you're watching that game progress, Chad Henne, man, I mean,
I'm pretty sure
at one point after he threw that punt, he essentially punted with the throw. You make a great play to Travis Kelce. You're on the 25-yard line. And then they call a legal chop block, which sets them back 15 yards or whatever. And this man punted. He overthrew his receiver by 10 yards.
He did.
I mean, the Brown safety.
I lost LTE at this point, so I was texting Chewy. I was like, "Yo, what the hell happened? What's going on?" And he was updating me. He's and he sucks. He was going in on him.
13-year vet, backup quarterback, sitting all year. All of a sudden,
never took a playoff snap. I don't think.
No, this is his first playoff game. Okay. Comes in, he goes 6 for 8 for 66 yards. I mean, come on, guys, that's incredible. Come into the game, and a pick. Okay, but you just called it a punt. I don't care. That
changed the game.
That
really did change the game.
Yeah, that gave the Browns life, which I want to touch on real quick.
3 points there, it would have been an 8.
Andy Reid
still more comfortable than
Andy Reid did say it was on him.
8. You're an 8.
Andy Reid said it was on him. I don't know if he's covering for Henne or not, but losing Mahomes, the Browns definitely had life, but the turning point of that game, And this rule, should we look at this rule? The fumble into the back of the end zone is it a touch?
Call. That was a great call.
It was the correct call. It was the correct call.
No, 100%.
It was the correct call.
I mean, you shouldn't what I have written down about this is like you shouldn't fumble. I don't think you shouldn't get rewarded for fumbling. I mean, that's just. But the instance is that's the only part of the field in the 100 yards between the 100 yards and
you can't
55
fumble.
plus wide. You can fumble, you get the ball back. But the only way I consider it is the down counts, whatever, move on to the next down, but you got to get back from the 20. You can't get it at the inch yard line. You fumbled. You don't deserve to get rewarded and get, just get the ball back and punch it in.
No, I think you should get the ball back somewhere else.
Yeah, back at the 20, but that's a totally different. It was an inch before, it was hell of a play by Sorensen,
but it was also a penalty because it was helmet to helmet. He led with the crown of his helmet, and it should have been a penalty. And
that always irks me. I don't know how there's not at this point there's not someone up down buzzing down. Like when every guy in the bar sees it, they're drunk and shit, and everyone knows it except for the 6 officials on the field.
You can't review that. You can't review that.
They tried it for one season. It didn't work.
The NFL has to get to a point
where that was asinine. That was a challenging the PIs. That was asinine. But let me just touch on this real quick. You know how Casey got out and how they were able to hold on to this game? They shut down the Browns' run game for sure. I think Chubb only had 18 yards. I don't think Hunt had
They had 112 on the ground.
Touch. But no, in the first half, they shut it down early, and they got out to their 17-point lead. It was 17-3, I think.
Yep, 19-3.
19-3, and then the Browns got the second half kickoff. They got back in their bag. They started running the ball. Chubb fucking dominated that entire drive down the field. They got it within one score, or 19-10, I think it was. And they got in a lot of situations where you could have went for 2, to make it an 8-point game. And in hindsight, I think it would have changed a little bit towards the end, but that was before the Mahomes injury, But they were on a roll, and then Baker had his shots, to go down the field. It wasn't against Mahomes at this point. He had 2 or 3 opportunities to go down the field and, get that game-winning touchdown. He just wasn't able to do it.
Yeah, but going forward as a Browns fan, if you're watching that game, I mean, you still have to be optimistic about your future. Baker was able to elevate his play this season, even with losing his number 1 receiver. So there's a lot to be happy for if you're a Browns fan, and that's the best season that they've watched in 20 years. The feeling I'm getting here in Ohio, how Browns fans are feeling, they're like, hey, we lost. But we beat the Steelers yesterday. We beat the Steelers last week, and we made the playoffs. So all is well.
It's a building block. That's how championship teams are built
next year. So
that's how championship teams are built. It's not just you just come up out of nowhere. You make the playoffs, then you win a couple games in the playoffs, then you make it to the championship. That's how we always see it.
Get your feet wet.
It's step by step, and these guys get experience, and their nerves are like.
I don't want to hear none of that. Jets to the Super Bowl next year.
I didn't think. Yeah, you're sick. Okay. You're sick. Go to sleep.
Now it's becoming more like the NBA. Like I was saying, there's big trades. That's fucking.
I don't think it's going to get to that.
Quarterbacks.
I don't like the way I tell Chew this. I don't like the way the NBA, the players league, when you have guys like Kyrie disappearing for 3 weeks. Okay, you're not going to get that in the NFL.
Well, the NFL is like the players get treated the worst out of everyone, and they make
I think in the NFL,
the players agreement, the collective bargaining agreement, the NFL players get it the worst out of any other.
I think at this point though,
association.
Well, I don't believe the players like in the NBA should be controlling the league and basically telling.
You don't see every time in NBA free agency when a bum signs like a fucking $100 deal, NFL players are bitching left and right. You see it all the time. There's some.
No, I agree with I agree with.
But then again, it's a 12 to 53. But I mean, there's definitely there's definitely more work the NFL Players Association needs to do to get better contracts, more guarantees, in it for these players.
Listen, in this instance, I totally agree with Deshaun Watson. Okay, he should pull the Carson Palmer where he sat. He said, "I'm not going to play. I got $80 million in the bank. I'm not playing. Get me out of Cincinnati." Deshaun Watson has every right. This franchise has failed him, and
JJ Watt's probably pushing him.
JJ Watt's pushing him,
and he should.
He should.
You're Deshaun Watson had a great year.
This is Watson's prime. It really is Watson's prime, and this franchise is going to waste, just like the Giants might be wasting Saquon's prime. I don't want to get into that conversation too much right now, but these guys have a certain amount of grace period, okay, where they're going to be the best.
They're young, they can get banged up. They can keep going through.
This is that time to win.
This is why I want touching on this real quick. I think there's no doubt in my mind Mahomes plays. I mean, the hitman shot it out to him. Was quick on it real quick. The second he said, if he plays, we get a great line because the line opened at 2.5, moved very quick to 3. And I think it's just leaning more towards a neck injury. I mean, he didn't. I initially thought he slammed his head on the ground. It didn't look like he slammed his head. It looked more like a pull, like a jerk to the neck injury, But he got up dazed as could be.
Well, you know what?
That was a bad look. Once I saw that, I was like,
I was telling you guys this. I think in the group message, I go, when a player's down like that, that's me. It's like, oh, it's my shoulder. Don't tell anybody it's your head until you come back. You get that. I remember one time I had to go into concussion protocol, and I had to tell Chewy the 3 words that I had to remember when T. Woj walked back 15 minutes later, and and he had to go ask him right before he came.
But hopefully Mahomes is back on the field. We got to move on though to the AARP Bowl that we watched. I mean Bucs Saints. I mean Drew Brees on his last leg. It was just so hard.
Some people are insulted by the AARP comment.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry.
I'm glad we got to watch
senior
the
viewers. That's not how
to our podcast. I'm sorry.
I thought that was it was fun to watch. The last game between those two, probably. I think Breeze looked washed. I think Breeze cost them the game at the end of the day, and it blows my mind that Kamara wasn't used more. Like with Michael Thomas being injury. Yeah, I think you have what was his numbers again?
18 for 85.
Yeah, and he was toting the rock, bro. I had his over rushing yards. He had over
football.
Yes, and Michael Thomas came out today saying he was injured and he didn't want to miss Breeze's last run. He wanted to try and go through. Like he was uninvolved.
Listen, they love Breeze. Breeze is
no Hill. I mean, they did draw up a great play with the
for sure.
Breeze is a pro's pro, and I can't listen.
I
can't stand, and you guys might knock me on this. I can't stand people who rip him saying, "No, he should have retired sooner. They should have."
I think they should have ran it back. They were the number 2 seed. They lost to Tom Brady. They were rolling, and they had a lot of injuries. We've been saying this for a while that they needed time to get back in their groove. They never really played. I think there was a time in that game they were announcing how many snaps Kamara, Thomas. And
it was not even a full one. It wasn't even a game's worth. It wasn't even a game's worth.
They never hit the groove.
But that's neither here nor there.
Was big.
Those people that knock not just Breeze, but all these old timers that try to hang on.
Big Ben's got to go too.
But even Big Ben, if you got to understand, these guys love. It's still a kids' game. They're still kids, and they love.
Dario, who do you think is more likely to come back? I saw some talks on that.
I think Breeze over Ben.
Who would you rather? Yeah, I think Breeze has.
I think Breeze still got it more.
I think Breeze is done.
Yeah, but if you watch the ending of that Steelers playoff game, I mean, Ben was fucking slinging it. Ben was still slinging it, though. Although he threw a bunch of picks, and I was telling you guys in that game, Ben threw, and we actually didn't have a podcast after that game. Those picks were thrown. He had 4 picks. I'll put the first one on him, okay, early in the game. But those late picks is him forcing the ball downfield. In a close game, he's not forcing those passes.
He's not skilled enough to. He's not skilled enough to get him in.
I'm leaning towards them both retiring.
I think they both will retire. I think Drew Brees got the NBC can't wait for Drew Brees to get in there. They really can't wait. But for these people, and I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to everybody out there that rips these guys that can't put it down. It's a kid's game, and these guys, if you have that itch still, and Brett Favre said this today. I was listening to it on the Morning Blitz on NFL Network Radio. End of the season, they're happy to go. It's like, okay, it's like you get out of school. I'm done. I'm just going to relax, okay? Then you're away for a little bit, and then the season –
you're not doing shit.
The live starts coming around, okay? That itch. You get that itch, right? And you know what? I don't blame these guys for scratch. I can't because you know what? If I was in that position, I wouldn't want to put it down either. I'd give up anything to just keep playing.
I'm with you on that one, but – for the Saints, I mean, just going forward with them. I mean, you have
to. Yeah, that's what I wanted to get.
You kind of have to feel for them.
Right.
They're in a bad spot now.
They're literally.
But my following point to that is a 2-way street. If you have that itch and they want you back, fucking go play. But if you have that itch and the team's kind of like, maybe then you got to think about it.
Yeah,
I do see that. But if they want you back, which they have, I can't knock Brees for coming back.
Eli situation.
I can't knock Eli for coming back, and I can't knock Ben for coming back.
Real quick, where do you think they go? Let's all touch on it. They have a late 20s pick. I think maybe you look into Mac Jones, or if they need they don't really need other pieces.
You can afford a Mac Jones. He'll sit behind
Mac Jones and send him. Winston. Yeah, exactly. Look for Mac
Winston
Jones
a shot next year.
Late. Yep, exactly.
Taysom Hill.
Also, they could also look for.
Taysom Hill's coming back next year. I mean, that's Sean Payton's little baby. I felt like he didn't know how to.
I still think Winston. You should put Winston over him.
His little baby. Power read option every other.
Also, real quick, they can even look at Kyle Trask, a Heisman candidate, late in the third round, something late in there, somewhere down, take a flyer on a guy and see how he works out. But I mean, they have a lot of questions up in the air.
But going back to your point, Ryan, I think this game turned into Sean Payton saying, look how much I can do. And I think he gets carried away, and it goes right back to the point. Alvin Kamara, 18 carries for 85 yards in this entire game.
Well, the Breeze picks put him in that situation.
Yeah, but you know what? If you would have
ran at the end, even I thought they had a shot.
Beautiful play with the Jameis Winston touchdown.
Yeah, that was a hell of a
Does your boy Top Bowl sleep at the wheel again?
Just check him in. Why don't you just check him in? Maybe spark your team.
Yeah, your boy Top Bowl sleep at the wheel.
I think it came down to a situation where Drew Brees has done so much for their franchise. They get in that fucking nostalgic. They felt like they owed him, like Dario Wood. You can't. Some people just can't pull that trigger. They owed him that. You've been seeing it by Peyton paying Taysom Hill left and right that he wants to, move on. We've seen it with Brady and Garoppolo and Belichick wanted it. He thought he had a successor and he wanted to, try and force him out. We've seen it many a time.
Brady's proving that wrong right now.
Yep.
But you remember that play that Deshaun
Brady looks good.
The play that Jameis came in on, that was the same play the Bears ran. And that man, Todd Bowles, probably was like this. Watching the film going, you know how he talks, right? They're not going to run that again this week. We don't got to worry about that. And then, boom, he does it. He does it, man. The Todd Bowles asleep at the wheel. Philly interviewed him today. I hope they hire him. I really do. Him or McDaniels.
I was hoping they hired him. I was hoping they hired Gase or Garrett.
You want this guy?
Yeah, I want him with our cross.
I want him in Philly. I want him or Todd Bowles in Philly. Give me a Jets retread in Philly, please, please, please. You want to see the city burned down? You want to see Lincoln Financial Field just destroyed? Hire one of those two morons, please. That's Todd Bowles.
Send Adam Gase to Seattle to reunite with his best friend Jamal.
Yeah, then he's gonna go there.
Jamal's gotta hate that one.
Oh, could you imagine?
That's funny.
They're gonna be like, Jamal's gonna kick the door down and say, "Don't you dare." Don't you dare.
I'll leave. I'll do the same thing I did. I'll do this. I did it once with the motherfucker. I'll do it again.
You think I will do it again? So, all right. Hey, real quick, I want to wrap it up with this. I thought we had a hell of a moment with Drew Brees and Tom Brady at the end of the game. Twitter had a great time with it, but I thought it was a touching moment. That's the last time they're ever going to play against each other. These are two ultimate competitors. And anybody that knocks
two of the all-time greats.
Yeah, they really are. And they're both Hall of Famers. And at the end of the day, folks,
without a question,
they're still people, and they still have families. This is a moment.
That was mad cool. That was really cool. I remember Brady when he was walking off. I think he said something to one of his sons after he threw him a touchdown pass. That's gotta be. Imagine how cool that'd be catching a pass from Tom Brady. After,
those kids living the dream, man.
Divisional game,
They're living the dream.
Yep.
They're doing way better than us on this stupid podcast that we do every night. You can't go live and have to record it. I hope people listen to this part. I don't think anybody is. But
play us out.
Come on, play us out. All right, folks. Thank you for if you did listen. Thank you for listening. We give a shout out to Nick back in Staten Island for trying to help us out tonight. Brocco back home trying to get us on. We're gonna definitely try to be on Thursday Night Live. I really like to be live. We're trying to get a guest.
Shout out to Billy and Mikey Moguls for cooking up dinner while we were recording this. But carry on there.
Sleep. Yeah, so we're going to try and be on live Thursday if possible. I'd like to get a guest on to preview this weekend's games. Everybody else, enjoy your day. Enjoy whatever you're doing. We'll see you back here Thursday, hopefully.
And get vaccinated, America, as always.